Imagine this. Your own sibling steals money from your dying father, money he desperately needed, only to end up losing out on 6 figures because of his greed. That's exactly what happened to my half-brother, and let me tell you, karma was brutal. If you've ever wished you could watch karma come crashing down on someone who thought they were untouchable, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready, because this is one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll hear today. My father wasn't perfect, but he was a good man. He worked his whole life, saved responsibly, and even when life got hard, he tried to make sure his family had what they needed. But when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, our lives flipped upside down. Watching someone you love slowly forget who you are, forget how to live, it's heartbreaking in ways I can't even explain. And just when we needed strength, support, and unity the most, my half-brother showed his true colors. This is a man who had always floated in and out of our lives. Estranged for years. Unreliable. Selfish. But when Dad got sick, he suddenly quit his job and swooped in, saying he wanted to help care for him. At first, I actually wanted to believe he'd changed. We all did. We agreed to pay him about $300 a week to help cover the income he lost by moving in. It wasn't much, but it was something. But looking back, I see now, this wasn't about family. It was about opportunity. It started with paperwork. My half-brother somehow managed to acquire durable power of attorney, basically giving him control over my dad's finances and medical decisions. None of us knew exactly how he pulled it off, but suddenly, he was in charge of everything. And let me tell you, that kind of power in the hands of the wrong person? It's dangerous. He was supposed to handle pension documents. A one-time payout of $8,000 was on the table. But because he forgot, or didn't care enough to turn in the paperwork, my dad missed out. And if that wasn't bad enough, it permanently lowered Dad's pension by $300 a month. Think about that. My father, already battling Alzheimer's, had just had his financial stability gutted by his own son. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, holding those letters, realizing how much money had been lost. My hands were shaking. My stomach felt hollow. And all I could think was, is this incompetence? Or is this theft? 3. The ultimate betrayal. Then came the knife in the back. We later discovered my half-brother had cleaned out Dad's remaining savings, around $3,000. He didn't even try to hide it. It was gone. Just like that. 6 days later, my father took his own life. I'll never forget finding out. The image of him in that basement, the weight of everything he'd gone through, illness, betrayal, the loss of dignity, it still haunts me. Grief and anger swirled together in my chest. It felt like I was drowning, gasping for air, and every breath was filled with rage at my half-brother. He had the audacity to present himself as the caretaker, while secretly bleeding Dad dry. 4. The will reading. After the funeral, we gathered for the will reading. Dad had left everything, insurance, belongings, the house, to my mom. Us kids were left with only sentimental items, which was fine by me. I cared about memories, not money. But my half-brother? Oh, you should have seen his face when he realized he wasn't getting a penny. His hands were literally shaking. His jaw clenched. He muttered under his breath about how unfair it was. And then he stormed out. At the time, I thought that was the end of it. But karma was just getting warmed up. 5. The discovery. A month later, while combing through accounts, we discovered the missing $3,000. Technically, he hadn't broken any laws. He had power of attorney. He was legally allowed to use those funds. But morally, he had stolen from his sick, dying father. We confronted him, sat him down, told him to pay it back. We weren't even unreasonable about it. We offered to let him make small payments over 2 years. But he refused. He smirked. He shrugged it off, like $3,000 meant nothing to him. That was the moment I knew I couldn't forgive him. And little did he know, his arrogance had just cost him everything. 6. The revenge plot unfolds. Here's the twist he never saw coming. What my half-brother didn't realize was that he was in my mother's will. His stepmother. The same woman he had dismissed and disrespected. If things had stayed the same, when she passed, he would have inherited half of her estate. That's about $125,000. But after we discovered what he'd done, I went to my mom. I laid everything out, the pension screw-up, the stolen money, the refusal to pay it back, the way he had abandoned us after Dad died. I'll never forget her face. The hurt. The disappointment. The quiet, steady anger of a woman who had tried to welcome him, only to be spat on. She didn't hesitate. She updated her will. And suddenly, I became the sole beneficiary. So let's do the math. He stole $3,000. A quick, dirty grab. But by doing so, he lost out on $125,000. That's 40 times what he thought he was gaining. The best part? He has no idea. He's been no contact for 2 years now. As far as he knows, he's still entitled to that money. He thinks one day he'll be cashing in. But when the time comes, when the will is read, he'll get nothing. Absolutely nothing. And maybe then, he'll finally understand what his greed cost him. The look on his face at Dad's will reading, that shaking, that anger, it's going to look like nothing compared to what's coming when he realizes he stole a measly $3,000, and in return, lost a fortune. That's the kind of justice you don't plan, it just happens. Karma stepped in. And I couldn't have written it better myself. If this story taught me anything, it's that greed always backfires. When you take from people who trust you, when you betray your own family, you don't just lose money, you lose everything. Respect. Love. And in his case, a 6-figure inheritance. So what do you think? Did karma hit hard enough, or did he get off easy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories of justice served. Until next time, stay safe, and don't mess with karma.